Episode 2, Chapter 2, The Incident of the Opened Chest. One day, while Muhammad was still living with the tribe of Banu Sa'd, an event occurred that has been recorded in authentic Islamic sources. According to authentic narrations found in Sahih Muslim, the angel Jibril, peace be upon him, came to the young Muhammad. The narrations describe that his chest was opened, his heart was purified, and then it was restored. This event is commonly known as Shaq al-Sadr, or the opening of the chest. The exact nature of this miraculous event has been discussed by Islamic scholars throughout history. Muslim scholars generally accept that it was a real miracle granted by Allah. However, many details beyond what is authentically reported should not be added with certainty. According to the narrations, the children who were playing with Muhammad became frightened and ran back to tell Halima that something unusual had happened. Halima and her husband hurried to the scene. They found the young boy safe, though visibly affected by the experience. Concerned for his well-being, Halima feared that something might happen to him if he remained in the desert. She made the difficult decision to return him to his mother in Makkah. Returning to his mother. After spending several years in the care of Halima, Muhammad returned to his mother, Amina. The reunion was filled with love. Amina had been separated from her son during the traditional years of desert nursing. Now she welcomed him back into her home. Although their time together would be short, it would become one of the most precious chapters of his childhood. For the first time since infancy, mother and son began building a closer bond. Yet destiny still held more trials ahead. Allah was preparing his future messenger through experiences that no child would willingly choose. The greatest test of his early life was still to come. A journey to Yathrib. When Muhammad was around 6 years old, Amina decided to travel north to Yathrib. The journey was likely made to visit relatives from Abdullah's family and to visit the place where Muhammad's father had passed away before his birth. For the young boy, this journey carried deep meaning. Although he had never met his father, he was now visiting the city connected to his father's final days. No one could have imagined that many years later, Yathrib would become the city of his migration and would forever be known as Al-Madina Al-Munawwara. But on this journey, another heartbreaking loss awaited him. The greatest loss. The journey to Yathrib came to an end. After spending some time with relatives and visiting places connected to Abdullah's family, Amina and her young son began their journey back to Makkah. Travel across Arabia was never easy. The roads were long. The desert was unforgiving. Every journey demanded patience and endurance. But somewhere along the return route, tragedy struck. At a place called Al-Abwa, located between Makkah and Yathrib, Amina became seriously ill. Despite every effort, her condition worsened. Far from home, far from her family, she realized that her life was coming to an end. Beside her stood her 6-year-old son, a child who had already lost his father before birth. Now, he was about to lose his mother as well. Amina passed away at Al-Abwa. She was buried there. For a 6-year-old child, it was a moment of unimaginable grief. In only a few years of life, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, had become both fatherless and motherless. Yet Allah's plan was unfolding with perfect wisdom. The child who would one day comfort millions first experienced hardship himself. He would understand loss because he had lived through it. He would care for orphans because he had once been one. He would show mercy because he had personally known sorrow. Ayman. Traveling with Amina was Ayman, whose name was Baraka. She had long served Abdullah's household and deeply loved the young Muhammad. After Amina's passing, Ayman took responsibility for the grieving child. She guided him safely back to Makkah. Years later, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would continue to honor her with great affection. He is reported to have spoken of her with deep love, recognizing the care she had shown him during one of the most difficult moments of his childhood. Her kindness became another example of how Allah placed compassionate people in the Prophet's life at every stage.